Welcome back to the Big Blue Lifers podcast. I'm Mr. U. That's Jess. We're here to talk all things New York Football Giants. Before we get into all the festivities, because there's plenty of that to go around. I told my brother tonight. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. Kind of very much still in the holiday mindset as we approach the new year. Thankfully, work's kind of slow right now as everyone just doesn't want to be doing anything. So I'm just kind of trying to just coast to vacation. And that's how I'm going to be starting off the new year. How about you, Yusuf? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm not starting New Year with a vacation, that's for sure. But it's all right, though. I'm going to try to get it in 2026.
How was your Christmas? How was the celebration?
It was good. It was very, very mild. I got a chance to spend time with a couple of my daughters, which was a bit of a rare thing. So we got together and she just ordered a whole bunch of catering. And you know what? Nobody had to labor over the stove all day, and it was nice. I sat there and I watched the 2 games on Netflix. I think it was a Thursday night, and I just put my foot up with a nice cool drink, and I just chilled. So it works, man. It's good. It's still good. It's still going on. We're not done with it yet. We're still in the holiday mode, man. I'm trying to enjoy it as much as I can because once we get done clean up all the firework dust, we'll be trying to get back to work. So trying to enjoy this. But we got a lot on our plate for tonight in regards to what took place and the implications of it regarding the Giants. Week 17 against the Raiders. We talked about it last week. If you guys are watching and listening, you already know where we're going with this. We kind of felt like, you know what, there's always a chance that because the Giants are facing arguably the worst team in the league on all 3 levels, offense, defense, and special teams. So there's always a chance we could win. And me and you went back and forth about it. I said, do the Giants want to win this game? If we do, there's certain people that we just can't start because they're going to play over their heads. So-and-so. You felt like we should start those guys. And we did start them. And the Giants won. So we're going to get into what that means, the implications draft-wise, what's coming from the, checking the temperature of the fan base, because there's a lot going on out there in these Giant streets from the fan base about how they feel about it, a lot of mixed reviews and stuff, but we'll get into it. Not sure where we want to start, because we can just start with the fact that the Giants beat the Raiders in a situation where they needed to have a loss to procure the number 1 pick in the upcoming 2026 NFL draft. So I don't know where you're going to start at, man. I think we still got a mock draft tonight too. So I'm excited about that. But honestly, just kind of checking the temperature real quick, and I'll let you get into the breakdown of the game and everything. I heard something on both sides of the argument. People were like, you know what? 2nd year in a row, you had a chance to hold number 1 pick and you couldn't do it. I heard that argument going forward. I get that. What we would have to have done is what I suggested last week and more to not. We basically have to almost not try, because what I saw, and I didn't get a chance to watch the game because, of course, they're going to black me out where I'm located at. So it's just par for the course. But the pieces that I did see, which was quite a bit, game day allowed me to see a lot of stuff. But I saw guys in silver and black that weren't even trying to tackle. I couldn't believe it. But I saw it with my own eyes, and I watched enough football in my life to know when somebody just not trying, they're making business decisions out there. And for guys that were talking about playing with pride, Crosby got basically escorted himself out of the facility because he wanted to play and he wanted to win the game against us. Apparently, nobody else did because these guys were not tackling. These guys were taking poor angles to the ball, which it could be they're just a bad team, or I felt like they were not invested in trying to win the game. So you can't put guys with the kind of egos that we got on our team, guys with chips on their shoulders, like we got on our team. Put them out there. I mean, Wandell potentially playing for a contract potentially. Dart is under scrutiny from certain voices, and between those 2 guys and then some, Theo Johnson and especially guys on our defense, these guys are playing with a chip on their shoulder. Like, you know what? We ain't trying to come here and lose. We want to win. You know what I'm saying? So you can't put them out there if you really want to win. So we took that chance by putting them out there, and we got what we were looking for. So now what I'm hearing from people is that, you know what, they're mad. Their fans are mad because I don't think these are diehard fans. I'm hearing. I think it's more fair weather fans. A lot of them, but they're mad because now we don't have number one pick, so now we can't rebuild. I don't agree with that. We'll get into that as the show progresses. I don't think that's totally so. And we can't have a rebuild, which is a full rebuild or a partial rebuild. Different conversation, but we can rebuild if we add the number 2 pick, which is not guaranteed until after next week. But I'm actually happy. I get the whole draft thing. We get into it. I'll share my feelings on that with the entire group, you included. Mm-hmm. But I'm happy. I saw these guys that have been laboring. They haven't had a road win since week 5. So these guys have been out here.
Road win of week 5 last year, actually. It was the game against Seattle last year was the last time we had won on the road until this point.
And that's nothing to be proud of. So watching these guys sincerely happy for each other, scoring and celebrating, I'm happy for that because that's the kind of Giants football that, honestly, we all been talking about all year. It's against the Raiders, understand that, but it's a win, and we played like we really want to win. So I'm happy about that part. So I'm not going to sit here and spit on their win and say, oh, we should have tanked and lost. Last year was a different conversation. This year, I'm not doing that because I think we have some things this year that we didn't have last year. But we'll get into it. Shout out to all our people who are watching, listening, Slither Snakes and Daniel. If you're jumping in here, any comments and questions, drop them in the chat. Love to speak to those on air as we move through the episode. But thanks again for watching and for listening. Go ahead, man. So your thoughts on the Giants-Raiders game overall, or any specific points that you have in mind?
Yeah, so just some takeaways from the game itself. Abdul Carter continues to have just locked in past 4 games since Bowen's been fired, and I think just as importantly, more so since Kayvon has just been on IR. But Abdul Carter has like 3.5 sacks, double-digit tackles for loss, is now second all-time in rookie pressures since they started recording that stat. I think it was in 2017. He has 52. The record is 60 by Nick Bosa. He's just been playing like a man possessed these last 4. He's been exactly what you would think, what we'd had hoped to get in the 3rd overall pick. Dart looked like himself again. They finally allowed him to run. He was hitting guys who were open. He had a very good game. If you care about this sort of thing, I think he had like another 25-point game in fantasy, no turnovers. And it seemed like we had successfully bullied the Giants, and combined with Dart actually speaking with them into being like, hey, you remember that stuff that worked earlier with Dart? What if we did that again? You know, and that way he can play to his full potential here, or, you know, at least not look lost. And so that was really nice to see. But the thing that, like you had brought up, that everyone wants to talk about is the fact that the Giants no longer have the number 1 overall pick. Had we lost against the Raiders, we were guaranteed the number 1 overall pick, no matter the results of Week 18. Now we are in a very touchy situation here. Because with that loss, the Giants now hold the 2nd overall pick. And we are playing the Cowboys, I believe, at home. And if the Giants lose that game and the Raiders beat the Chiefs, which is possible, being that the Chiefs are on their 3rd string quarterback, who's a guy whose name I can't even pronounce, and they just look terrible. The Chiefs just look terrible. Now, the Raiders look heinously awful, but it is not just a foregone conclusion that the Chiefs are going to win that game. If the Giants lose and the Raiders win, Giants get the number 1 overall pick. If the Giants lose and the Raiders lose, the Giants just stay at 2nd. A loss to the Cowboys guarantees, bare minimum, we are picking 2nd. The tricky part is if we win. And from certain things that have been reported and have come out, it sounds like some starters for the Cowboys are not going to be playing. Dak may not play the whole game. So it sounds like the Cowboys want to lose, and knowing the Giants, they want to win. So if the Giants beat the Cowboys, they could fall potentially all the way to 7th in the draft. Because the Jets, Titans, Cardinals, Cleveland, and Washington are all sitting right behind us with either one more win than us or currently at the same record as us. For every one of those teams, if we beat the Cowboys, for every one of those teams that lose, we fall one spot. The Jets play the Bills, who may or may not play their starters. I think I saw this. Please fact check me on this, Yusuf. Something that's very important for the Bills is that they would theoretically be playing for playoff seeding with the Chargers. However, I think Jim Harbaugh announced that the Chargers are benching Herbert for the Week 18 game against the Broncos. I am not certain that is true.
They rested.
So that means it sounds like the Chargers are not trying to win. So therefore, if the Chargers lose, nothing happens to the Bills in their playoff seeding, I believe.
The Chargers are banged up, so I'm not really shocked by this. Mm-hmm. They're known to have a lot of injuries, especially down here in the stretch. So, and I think Harbaugh already is well abreast of the history. So, and Herbert was getting tagged. He needs to rest. I fully support that decision. Let him rest because he's getting banged up. Their O-line is a mess without Joe Alt back there. So they, in fact, Joe Alt and I think Rashawn Slater too. So they,
I mean, they're on like 4th string guys on that offensive line.
Go ahead and rest Herbert. Made total sense to me. But go ahead. Sorry, keep going.
So I think Houston is also there with the Bills. But the important thing is that with the Bills, if they don't play their starters, the Jets might win, which is going to be important for the Giants in multiple ways. You have the Browns who play the Bengals. I would say with how the Bengals defense has been, and that is a winnable game for the Browns. Not like I think anybody would pick them, but it's not some foregone conclusion that they're going to lose. The Cardinals play the Rams. It'll be interesting if the Rams the Rams are probably going to be playing their starters for that. So the Cardinals I'm 99% certain the Cardinals lose. Washington plays Philly. I think Philly is going to be playing their starters because they've still got some seeding that they're trying to get. I think they can get the 2nd seed. Actually, wait, can they get the 2nd seed?
Ooh.
If not, then Philly might be resting their starters as well. So there's just a bunch of all of the teams behind the Giants who they could theoretically fall behind. Most of them are in games that they're going to lose. So the Giants need to lose on Sunday.
That's really the bottom line, man. We can talk about all the other stuff and talk about whether the Chiefs are going to come out and excel against the Raiders or not. We can talk about all that, but at the end of the day, that's the one thing that actually has to happen. See, I already had it teed up what I want to say about us if we were at 2. Honestly, I'm be getting ahead of myself, so forgive me if I'm doing that, but that doesn't bother me.
Not Giants falling to 7?
No, that's not what I said. I said them being at 2 doesn't bother me.
Oh, them being at 2. Look, a lot of people are acting like it's the end of the world, and I think Dante Moore is moving up the ranks, and I don't think it's fake. I think it's real, and I think that there is a possibility. Because the reason why I think that's because of what the Jets did with Justin Fields. That's how I know what kind of quarterback they want to get, or Aaron Glenn, or whoever's
running the show in that regard. I forget who the GM is. I blank out on his name. I think he's fairly new, I guess, but that's the kind of quarterback they want. So it doesn't surprise me that Dante Moore is being mocked to them so much. So if that happens, I can see a scenario where perhaps they may want to make a deal with us if we're not taking Reese there, which is a question also because, I mean, why we lose, why do we work harder to lose? Why are we comfortable being at 2? Because everybody knew in the organization that was going to happen. Everybody knew if we won, we'd be at 2. It wasn't like it was a secret or something that would happen after the game. Then they would reveal it to us in some big surprise. We knew if we won against the Raiders, we'd be at 2. And there was nothing that they did to make sure it didn't happen. So they were obviously comfortable with being at 2 because they think Reese is the guy and they want him there anyways, or they feel like there's enough draft capital available to trade back even from 2. I don't know which one it is, but both of them work for me. Now that whole down to 7 thing, that's concerning to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, now we don't get any, now that we potentially don't get any picks because now I'm hearing about guys who we talked about last week. I mentioned Tyler Shough, I think it was last week or week before. The Saints, you know, they kind of love him. And the way he's playing, I don't see why not. When I did my draft special for the show earlier last year in April, live draft, April 20th, whatever it was, I was talking about Tyler Shough. People were laughing at me, clowning me. I'm like, I watched this guy play. He's not a scrub. He's older than the other quarterbacks. Yes, he's a senior compared to them, but he's good. And now New Orleans is starting to see it. So that's one team I'm taking off of the board now because I had a list of guys I want to share with you guys, share with the listeners who might need a quarterback, who might come up to shoot to get one. Now I'm like, I don't think the Saints are going to be one of them now. They may ride everything on Shough and move on. I'm like, wow, they're off the board. The Cardinals might be able to, well, if they can get the right partner, they might be able to trade Murray. If they can get the right partner for him. He still has a year and change left on his contract still. So I don't know. I'll let you keep on going with your thoughts so you can finish that, man. But I'm not cool with being down to 7. That's a little bit troubling to me. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna learn a lot more. I think it's gonna be like Wednesday or Thursday that they're gonna announce like who's playing on Saturday, who's playing on Sunday. We're gonna get all this information. We're gonna be figuring, we're gonna see because that will also have a lot of impact on what teams are playing their starters, in terms of the playoff hunt. Because if, let's say the Bears play the Lions on Saturday, but the Eagles don't play Washington until Sunday, the Eagles will determine essentially whether or not they're playing their starters on after the result of the game. Because if Detroit beats Chicago, then Philly has a chance to jump Chicago. If Chicago beats Detroit, then Philly's just locked in where they are. They can't go up, they can't go down. So that will have a lot of impact on this sort of thing. Because I don't think I think if the Bills probably play their starters because they have to, if they don't want to be the 7th seed, they would have to win at least this final game. But I don't think they can rise past the 6th seed, assuming Houston beats Indianapolis. Yeah, that's a very congested area there.
Yeah, and Allen is banged up too. So this is going to be
but then it's like one of those things where it's like, well, if we end up staying at the 7, then we play New England. We already know we can beat them. It's going to be this is pure speculation there that we're getting into a lot of semantical stuff about like who's going to play the starters, when are these games going to be played. Like it's
Yeah, we don't
That
know
is
anything.
irrelevant. The most important thing now for the Giants is that, as you were getting into a bit earlier, that Dante Moore declares. Because right now, Fernando Mendoza is the only quarterback that everyone knows is going in the first round. And everybody knows he's going number 1 to the Raiders, barring the Raiders winning and the Giants losing on Sunday/Saturday, whatever. So if the Giants just stay at second, like they just lose to Dallas, Raiders lose against the Chiefs, Giants lose against Dallas, then the value of this pick is entirely predicated on Dante Moore's decision. If Moore chooses to declare, I think the Giants trade back, and, well, lo and behold, Dante Moore, you are the second overall pick in the NFL draft, which even monetarily makes a lot of sense for him to declare. Like, if he declares, he's going top 10 this year, barring him tearing his ACL at the combine, I think there's too much for him to gain by going to the draft. There's too much to lose by just staying and not doing anything, like staying for another year of college. So I think he declares, but every report I've seen is like he's really considering going back to college.
Oh my God. Okay. So let's play around with the other side of the scenario just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get a chance to really get into it last week. So let's just say those two week 18 scenarios actually happen. The Raiders edge the Chiefs out 13-12.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants lose to the Cowboys 40-15. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and Moore is not, I think in my mind, he is not coming out. So we're sitting at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
How do we like? I don't think we discussed it last week. Tell me how you like what the Raiders will have to offer to get to the number 1 spot. Because I know when we did our mock draft, that wasn't even in the top 3 of the option that I think you liked.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about that? Are we taking that deal? Because now potentially some other names are going to be involved, especially if Moore's not going to be coming out. And I had a little short list. I had to change it because I think New Orleans might be off of the table.
I'd say New Orleans is off the table.
I hear rumors about Miami trading Tua. That's not impossible based on what we've been seeing. It actually makes sense. And Quinn Ewers, somebody who I also had on our draft special last year. People were killing me about him too. I didn't like all I saw from him at Texas, but say, no, he's better than what we saw there. And now he's out here lighting it up. So Miami might be saying, you know what? We already have our number 1 quarterback in Ewers. Let's go and get some capital or some resources for Tua. So possibility, but I had Arizona in there. I had the Jets in there. And I'm feeling as though we need to start considering a few more options there. Even though Carolina could possibly win their division after next week, which is potentially a thing. They're going to play Tampa Bay. They could potentially win that. I think both of those guys potentially are playing for their jobs at quarterback. Not just Baker, but also Bryce. So depending on how those games go, because the season already kind of lets you know that Tampa Bay might be looking at a quarterback at some point in time, if not this year, somewhere. Carolina may be doing that because Bryce was given an extra opportunity this year, and he showed some strides, but do you not want to get a quarterback in the draft if you can? And Pittsburgh has one that's 42 years old now. He may be in the playoffs here, but what about the future? Because if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, because he is a little bit older, if he gets hurt, who's coming in there? And don't say Mason Rudolph or nobody like that, because those are not viable options. So we're talking about maybe 4-5 more teams that might need to be getting the quarterback. Cleveland's off of the table. I think they're gonna go ahead and take what should do. I think, but Las Vegas, the Jets for sure, Tampa Bay possibly, Carolina possibly, Pittsburgh I think is pretty definite, and Arizona are 16. If you don't include Miami, they're probably gonna need a quarterback. So with that in mind, just as a playful scenario, we're at 1 now. We got it locked in, and Moore's not coming out. Do you like what the Raiders are going to offer? Because they're probably going to be the biggest pushers out of that group. I think Carolina. I think the Cardinals. I think they have money, but I don't know how much. I haven't checked that out. So, how you feeling about the Raiders scenario and coming up from wherever they are in the
It
draft?
would be 2-1.
Yeah. How you feeling about that?
Well, I don't think Tampa will be involved. I don't think the Panthers will be involved. I think Bryce has shown just enough, and that the Panthers are also just a bit too far back. Both the Panthers and the Bucks, I think, are going to be too far back in the draft order to really be in contention without having to give up like a first-round pick this year, a second-round pick this year, a first-round pick next year, a second-round pick next year, and then maybe even another second-round pick the year after, or something, like ludicrously insane, just to be able to jump. Because of, again,
before you move off of that, just think about where they are with their head coach, with the talent on their team right now, and what they got. Mike Evans is not getting younger, but he's still in a prime spot right now. Young running backs like Bucky Irvin, still there. They ain't gonna be there forever. Coming close to the end of their contract. This is a team that I feel like if they got somebody to make a gamble in that group I just gave you, that's a prime team to make a gamble because they need you because people are gonna get fired. Heads are gonna roll, even in the front office.
They're going to chalk Tampa in particular is just going to chalk this year up to injuries. They have had a ton of injuries. Baker's been playing through one. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen, wide receivers have all missed time. I just do not think they are going to be in contention for a quarterback at all. Okay. Panthers are an interesting one, but again, I think the main thing for them is that, right now, Tampa versus Carolina this weekend is whoever wins that game wins the division. So if the Panthers win that, which is not impossible, especially with how the Bucs have looked recently, that'll be very interesting because they will be 9-8, winning record. They're going to have won their division. They're going to be in the playoff. Now, they're probably not going to win a playoff game because they're probably going to be playing either the Rams or the Niners. So maybe they just get bounced, but they're going to be like, okay, we have a lot to work with here. And again, let's say they lose that game and then they go to 8-9, but they didn't win their division, but they can still be like, dude, we were this close to winning the division, being in the playoffs. And again, the sheer amount they would need to trade up from, where are they right now?
Who's that?
The Panthers are currently drafting 19th. Let's say with a loss here, if they lose to the Buccaneers, they would be picking 15th. If they to move up from 15 to 1 would just the amount of capital that would have to be they would probably, in order just to not lose that, a ridiculous amount of picks, they probably have to throw in a player or something. Like I just don't know why they would attempt that. Again, they're just not in striking range, in my opinion. With you're a GM, with the amount that you would have to give up, like you would have to be so dead certain that Fernando Mendoza is the answer. You're putting your entire job on the line for him. Like, forget what Dable and Shane did with Jackson Dart. The sheer amount of, if you are not A+ immediately, like, kind of pressure, that would be on Mendoza if a team like the Panthers or the Bucs, were to try and trade up for that. I agree about Miami. I think they are certainly in the mix. Jets, obviously. Raiders, obviously. Cardinals, I think, are very much in the mix because it sounds like they're done with Murray. Cleveland, I think I agree. I think they're going to just let the things fall to them, use their multiple first-round picks this year, continue to build the roster, and just move forward next year. Let's see what we got with Shador. But yeah, so I think the options are Raiders, Cardinals, Jets, Dolphins. I think that's who I have as teams that right now are going to look to trade up for a quarterback.
Okay. I'm gonna let you take us to our next point. I wanted to drop some contract information on the quarterbacks that will be affected by this scenario we're talking about today. So Kyler Murray signed through 2027, team option in 2028. The rumblings, I think they're really true. They're going to try to move him probably. Bryce Young is signed through next year, team option in 2027. I think that's significant. That's why I felt so strongly about that. Geno, amazingly still on the Raiders, signed through 2027, but I don't think they don't want somebody. They want him more as a backup, as somebody to kind of be a clipboard holder and an advisor to their rookie quarterback coming in, which is going to be Mendoza more than likely. Stafford is signed through 2026. Not seeing the Rams trying to jump up to that spot. I think they already drafted a quarterback last year whose name I'm blanking out on right now, but I think they already have somebody to work with. Rattler, who may just be a persona non grata right now, he signed through 2027. Shuck through 2028. Aaron Rodgers, he signed through this year right here. So next year, apparently, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's a free agent. And Baker signed through 2026. And with all the year he's had this year so far, he has to do amazing things next week to change my mind about the fact that, you know what, they got to look elsewhere for quarterback. If more comes out, like you already intimated, then maybe perhaps Tampa may find that interesting enough to make some moves there, depending on where he falls in the draft. But we can go ahead and move on to the next point. I wanted to make a quick point about this part, and then we'll move on to what we have next. That thing with the Raiders and Crosby, that was so weird to me. Because it was really clear.
I think he's done with them. I think I think he's going to be moved this offseason, actually.
That's going to be a huge haul, contract-wise and just talent-wise. And the fan base will probably implode. Seriously. That's the only thing I can think of on that team that will make that happen. If that happens, a whole black hole, it's going to be a black hole for real. It's going to be a nightmare. And I feel like because you just moved from Oakland to Las Vegas, on top of that, all of a sudden invested, Tom Brady going to be at that man's house saying, please don't go. Because that would be insane. However, that was so crazy. I guess that's how you're supposed to tank. You got a guy who, hey, you know what? Did I see you with a knee problem in week 8? It's time for you to have some surgery. And that man was vehemently opposed to going out on IR and not playing in this game against the Giants. So it's a funny thing I just want to throw out there because it's clear that they were trying to tank. It's obvious to me. So I don't understand how they can go into the game against the Chiefs, even though it's a divisional game, a lot of tension, a lot of history there. Same thing with us and the Cowboys. Like, what are we going to get? So I'm kind of low-key excited to see what happens both of these games. I'm like, these are not random guys we meet once a year. These are rivals. We play them twice a year, every year. Do we want to beat them, or are we good with just letting them have this win? So it's pretty weird. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic, though. I'm ready. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, so Wan'Dale Robinson has officially become the shortest player ever to record 1,000 receiving yards in a season.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Way to go, Wan'Dale. And you know for a fact he's going to use that in their contract talks this offseason.
Oh, you know it.
As we've discussed previously, the Giants are going to need to make some trades, make some cuts, maneuver some stuff around with the cap to clear up some space because they have a bunch of potential re-signings. Cordell Flott, of course, decided that in his final year of his contract was going to be the year he decides that I'm going to become a halfway decent corner. Dane Belton, solid backup safety, Daniel Bellinger, Jermaine Illuminor, Wan'Dale Robinson. If we want to keep him around, we're going to have to make some decisions about Isaiah Hodgins. Will GVR come back for another, for another go around?
We need some changes at some of these spots, man. We don't.
Well, I'm not saying like if a guy like GVR decides like, hey, I'm gonna take another like kind of vet minimum kind of contract, he could just come back and be a backup.
That's fair. I like the idea of that. some of these guys can be that for us, but I just don't. We better bring some fresh young talent. These guys with some. There's no way the new head coach is not going to sign on for guys coming with some attitude, especially if it's like a guy like Hafley or Shula. There's no way in the world they're going to sit on the roster that we have currently constituted on that O line, and there ain't no way in the world.
I think they're gonna want to, kind of come in and make their own mark and decisions immediately. But that's also gonna, who's the GM? Is it Shane? Because I don't know if you saw this, but when Ian Rappaport was on Good Morning Football or whatever program he was on yesterday, at the bottom of the screen, when they had like the headline thing, it said Joe Shane expected to remain as GM for the draft. Now, it is to be noted, as Justin Pennick pointed out on Talking Giants this morning or last night, Joe Shane happens to, at the very least, interact, if not be buddies with, a lot of the national media correspondents, Rappaport included. So if he got that from anybody within the Giants organization, it is most likely someone, if not just, that would be a Shane directly thing. We're going to have any decisions about Joe Shane, we're going to know by next Monday, essentially. Tuesday at the absolute latest, whether or not this man is sticking around for the year.
All
because
right.
if the Giants so
how are you feeling about it?
I don't know. Like, I'm still happy with the 2024 and 2025 drafts. I think that with better coaching, we could see a bit more from Phillips again. Theo Johnson just needs to, catch the ball. He's not what we hoped, but he was a fourth round tight end. It's not like I was, I had these insane expectations for him, but he still flashed some good stuff. Marcus Bowe has shown that he can clearly be a good backup tackle. Darius Alexander's really come on in the second half of the year. Abdul Carter, if he continues what he's been doing these last 4 games, is going to be a monster. Jackson Dart looks solid. Malik Neighbors, it really sucks, but, he's clearly got some talent left in him. Nubin has potential still. At the very least, he's going to be a good backup, not what you want from him. But my point is, there are pieces here that Shane has brought in. Now, what would I prefer? I prefer him gone. I think he's done more bad than good. It's been 4 years. It's not like we haven't given him time to really turn things around. We just need somebody who can come in. It's going to be a fresh pair of eyes. He's going to bring in his own regime. I think we just need that total reset.
How does that happen when he's going to be coaching the draft? Managing the draft. Is that
well? That's the thing.
If he's happen after that, is that possible? Still?
No. If he's sticking around, if he sticks around for the draft, he's here to stay for the year. If no potential GM candidate would, I don't even know if they can even hire someone like that after the draft.
I don't think so either. If you ever worked for the government before, and I tell the story on some other shows because it's just so significant. Let's use this as a scenario. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. I'm just asking a question that maybe everybody else is thinking. Say, for instance, that Shane does hang around, manages the draft, which we've seen, we've had mixed reviews about how good he was at doing that, but he manages the draft, and we bring in a guy like Hafley, perhaps, or Shula, right? And these guys butt heads, it's not working. What happens? What happens? Because this is the new coach coming in, and you got somebody who Mara may recognize on his last legs, but maybe not quite yet. How do you fix that? Because Shane letting somebody go, letting the head coach go, that's not going to look good for him. Letting a brand new head coach go because he doesn't agree with your ways, that's not going to look. He ain't going to fire himself, I don't think. Most GMs never do that unless it's a really, really bad situation. Then they'll excuse themselves, which I've seen a couple of times in a handful. So what happens? That's almost the worst case scenario for me.
Again, like I also think any coach is gonna want like a little more like guarantee. Like one of the reasons that we couldn't get a better DC than Shane Bowen was because guys were looking at this and like, how long is this regime gonna be around for? I don't want to come in and just sign and then I'm gone after the year. Like the Giants need to figure out like a better system, essentially.
Okay.
Not a better system, but they need to present a better situation. Where it's like, look, new GM, new coach. We gave the last two guys 4 years. You got 4 years. That's what they need to do. But all right, let's get to the fun part of the show here.
The fun part?
The mock draft. Mock draft Monday.
All right.
So I'm going to share my screen here. Can you see my screen here?
Yes.
All right. So I have this draft order completely set based on how Tankathon has it. Giants are in second, and everything else is in order. I upped the care for positional value as well as drafting for needs is going to be about a little above average. So this should be semi-realistic here with who guys are taking. We're doing a full 7 rounds.
Oh, boy.
All this good for you?
It's fantastic for me. Let's do it.
All right. So we enter the draft. We start the draft. And it looks like Dante Moore went number 1. So not the most realistic, but not unrealistic. Depending on if he declares, I don't think it's inconceivable that the Raiders would take him over Mendoza, given the theoretical upside of Dante Moore compared to Mendoza.
That's
so
fair.
Now we get into this.
All right.
Operating under the assumption that, we've got the Jets trying to trade up, the Cardinals trying to trade up. Who else did we say here that could be?
Arizona could potentially do that. Arizona, potentially. I think
we've got Jets, Arizona, theoretically Cleveland, but let's not use them. We've got the Dolphins down here at 12.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they like Ewers, but
because if the Jets are only having to trade up one spot, we're not going to get an insane haul for that. I think we would get 3. I think we could get 35 and 46, leave, and then don't take any first, which would be more of a immediate fix situation. But if we were to, but I don't think we get a future first. And I think if you're the Giants, you want a future first. So let's go here to the Cardinals.
Yeah, let's look at that.
I think we could get 5, 37, and their first round pick next year. This is saying this is a 66% chance, so we could actually ask for some more. If we were to ask for a 3rd round pick next year on top of all of that, because we could QB tax the Cardinals here. Like, you're jumping over the Jets who need the other quarterback. Something like that.
Yeah.
So I think, honestly, asking for something like this wouldn't be out of the picture.
No, I don't think it'd be out of the picture. I like it, and I really don't feel like Indianapolis is going to go that route unless they just feel like Daniel's injury is problematic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they like Anthony Richardson as much as they should. And I'd just be surprised if Rivers comes back and plays a full season. That would just shock me. So as much as I want to include them, just to have as many people claiming for that pick as possible, which is good for us, obviously.
That would be pick 18, in which case we'd be asking for 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Oh man, is that real? Is that which one is more realistic in this scenario? The Cardinals or the Colts? I just kind of feel like maybe it's the
Cardinals infinitely more realistic. Also, because you have to remember, how far back do the Giants want to drop? Because if we trade back all the way to
You froze up on
18,
me. You froze up, sorry.
Huh?
You talking about you froze up. You said where the Colts are? 18.
yeah, the Colts are all the way down here at 18. This is where they are currently slated to pick.
Yeah. Not sure it's going to change, but that's where they are.
All right, let's offer this trade to Arizona here.
Let's do
And
it.
they accepted. So we get 5 and 37 this year, and we take their first and second next year.
That's great to me.
All right. So all right.
Probably have to trade again at some point during this draft, though. So the Jets took Reese instead of Mendoza. Is that really?
None of these things are going to be perfect.
Oh, brother. The Tyson one, I get that one.
The Tyson one, yeah. The Tyson one makes sense. The Cardinals actually took Caleb Downs. You know what? Actually, well, actually, no.
the team is not going to change very much, though. Even with that.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to pretend like the Cardinals took Caleb down. The Cardinals took Mendoza. The Jets took Reese. You know, we're
gonna have a 10 for 10 draft. I mean, how's this gonna work?
I don't know, man. In this situation,
ooh, this is tough.
My favorite pick here would be Carnell Tate. He's 6'3", about 200 pounds, great route runner, great contested catch guy. He hasn't dropped a single pass this year. And he's actually my wide receiver one, at least compare, like when you take everything into account, because Jordan Tyson, I think, is a better wide receiver, but has serious injury concerns.
That's fair.
So for me, I'm getting like 90% of the player here, or 90% of the prospect, with none of the injury concerns.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago or so. I felt like I had a third wide receiver, and I'm just blanking out, so forgive me. But
Makai Lemon.
No, not him. He's not on my top three. But Tate
Boston?
Yes, Boston. But Tate is my number one. It's for some of the same reasons. I think he is definitely a playmaker. I think he's pretty versatile. I think he's technically sound, which is something that, honestly, a lot of nice wide receivers out here, but how many of them are technically sound that win consistently in the middle of the field? I don't know a lot of those. There's some, but it's not a lot of them. So I like him here. I will go ahead and say yes to this. The idea of having
other guys that I think are really, other guys that I think are really good would be Sonny Styles. I love him. Great off-ball linebacker. Makai Lemon is my wide receiver 3, but I think I would prefer Carnell Tate. Interesting option here would be a Mansour Delane. Try and shore up that corner spot. Lockdown guy, 6 foot 190. He's got really high coverage grades here on PFF. Plays a lot of outside corners, so we're not just drafting another slot guy. Jermod McCoy is a little bit of a tougher one to gauge because I think he tore his ACL this year. I don't think we'd be going offensive lineman here, but Peter Woods, if we want to put a big body right next to Dexter Lawrence there.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite prospect here in this scenario, being that Caleb Downs is off the board here, would be a Carnell Tate.
I'm with it. Let's go. I don't think there's a better option in that group. I like Jeremiah Love too, but not there 5 over Tate. Oh, so we got 34 and 37. Oh, this is going to be fun. All right.
Yeah, so because we traded back with the Cardinals, we took their second round pick. So we have 34 and 37. Now, this is the area where I wouldn't really mind looking on the defensive side of the ball here. Amari Washington, I love how he's got an excellent combination of size, strength. He can stop the run. We could go Anthony Hill on an off-ball linebacking option. Young, doesn't miss many tackles. We've got him, we could place him next to Bobby Okereke, or maybe we've cut Okereke. A guy who's not listed up here that I think is really good is Emmanuel Pregnon. He's, I think, maybe the second best guard in the draft. Issue is his age. He's going to be like 24 when he comes out. So a little older there. Of these available options, Jennings Dunker's another one. He's probably going to be a guard at the next level if he's willing to, hop inside. The issue with getting these linemen is we don't know what scheme we're going to be running, which is a big part of drafting these guys. We could double up on wide receiver here, get another guy that's, Casey Concepcion he's really good, except for he's got a little bit of a drop issue, as you can see here with his 10.3% drop rate. He's had 7 drops on the year. Ian Strong out of Rutgers, Chris Bell, depending on how you like him, coming off the ACL, Elijah Sarrett.
Not doing that, but yeah.
If we want to replace, what's his face? Oh my God, I said his name earlier. Oh my God. Newbin, thank you. There's AJ Halsey here, 6 foot 222. He's a bigger guy. He can play in the box. He can play deep. He's got a very high coverage grade here, above average run defense grade. What are you thinking here based on these available options? Do you want to attack the trenches?
What happened with Anthony?
Anthony Hill?
What's the linebacker? What happened there?
He's down here.
Now? I think somebody's down here.
Well, yeah, I scrolled back up.
I'm like, he's really low, but I think he's going to be a little higher than this.
I would expect him to be drafted a bit higher.
Yeah. I did have some concerns about his time off the field this year. He only started in 10 games, but at the same time, when he's in there, he's productive. Talking about forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, interceptions, pass defenses. He's always near the ball. Mm-hmm. And since Reese off of the board, this was my second choice at linebacker. If I miss somebody, forgive me. Open for correction today, but I like Anthony Hill right here. With all the guys we've seen so far, I don't have anybody that I like more than him here. But I'm open to make some concessions because that's what we do when I do mock drafts together. So somebody got to check it out.
Yeah, no, I based on how the board is here, I honestly wouldn't mind trading back again.
Oh my goodness.
Like, if the Dolphins want to move up, that's who's saying they have interest in this pick. Let's see, 44 and 76 here. Pick up a third rounder.
God, we don't have one, so yeah.
Let's see. Maybe we take number 90 and 151 instead.
Not sure where I'm at with this one, but
it's still a third round pick.
Okay.
So they took.
We're losing the 44 too. Okay, so we're still getting the 44. We're getting the 90. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. So here, let's take Anthony Hill.
Okay. A little bit close to where he is, which is great. I think he could be a good fit for us at the linebacker spot. We need help there for sure. So
Amari Washington went, Gabe Lucas, Chris Bell, Ian Strong. So the 3 receivers And here I would like to go with Pregnon. Get that right guard or left guard, depending on what we do with Runyon. Add more to, what's in front of Dart there. We've given him a wide receiver. We're going to give him a guard. We added a linebacker. What do you think?
I like Pregnon. I'm just wondering about some other stuff. Are we waiting to get a safety?
I think we can wait to get a safety. I like Halsey here.
Yeah, he's right there.
But for me, right now, based on who's here, it would be between Halsey and Pregnon. And given that this is more of a Dart, obviously we're approaching this with like, how can we most help out Dart? I think it would be Pregnon. But if you're set on Halsey, I'm fine going in that direction.
The reason why I like this is because I'm not sure what the what the tail is going to be. If we're just balancing safety and O-line later on in the draft, I think we get more value later because of the picks that we're amassing right now. On top of that, Halsey has been against the teams that, because they didn't have the best schedule in the world, but against the teams that were like, I guess, in the upper echelon, this guy was going off. He was basically leading the defense out there. They lost against Ole Miss, win against South Carolina, lost against Vanderbilt, and lost against Texas A&M. He was going off. He probably averaged about 30 tackles and not many interceptions, but he's just been, a ball hawk, so to speak. So I like him here, but all I can say to answer the question is let's look at what we got in the O-line and then match it against the safety and see what we like. And then we can decide from this. That's what I normally do when I'm doing the mock draft. So
yeah, so PFF has the only has Pregnon and then 2 centers graded out for second round level guys. Then there's 1 third round guard. And that's it until you get into like the 4th, 5th round. Then let's
I don't know how much I like Chase Personas, but we can
you have Halsey, then you have Dylan Theinman, Kamari Ramsey. Seems like there's a bit more safety availability.
Okay. Let's go ahead and take Pregnon then. Let's get Pregnon here. We're going to have to do it anyway, so let's go ahead and do it right here then. All right, so we come up with pick number 90 now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We could double up on O-line here with Besantis. We could grab another linebacker with the guy who won the Linebacker of the Year award in Jacob Rodriguez. Looking at safety here, there's Zachy Wheatley. We might be able to get him at 102. Maybe. So if you wanted to grab Besantis here and then hope Wheatley falls to us.
Yeah, Rodriguez had a really, really good year, but let's see if we can try to grab him later. But I like Besantis here.
All right. Getting those linemen. And he fell to us.
Ooh.
Zachy Wheatley.
I don't know a whole lot about him. I saw a half of a Penn State game this year, so not a lot of context. So I got to be honest about that. But it looks like he's out here doing work. It's not best in the world.
Got a coverage grade, got a good run defense grade. Missed tackle rate's a little high, but
in games too. I don't know exactly why I can't see from here why he was he only started 12 games. I don't know what that's about. I'll be honest, man. I'm not in the fields about this one just because of him. Not again safety here, but just
we could go corner.
No savage man.
I like Malik Muhammad here.
Ooh.
He's a big body corner, 6 foot 188. It's a little younger. Has had a bit of a rough second half of the year, as you can see here,
Yeah.
which has caused him to fall in the draft. There's Will Lee, but he's not a good run defender at all, as you can see here.
Let's not even do that then. How you feeling about Sab? I know you mentioned him a couple of weeks ago. You still feeling the same way about him? You like him here, or?
Well, being the Keon Sapp, yeah, he's definitely an option here.
Ooh.
He's got a much better. His run defense grade overall is a little worse than Wheatley, but his missed tackle rate is better.
Seems like he's not even in games, according to these numbers I'm seeing. Oh my God! All right, is Jacob gone?
Rodriguez?
Yes, is he gone or is he still here?
Yeah, he was taking one spot ahead of us.
Whoa. See, they must have heard us talking. There's no way that happened. This is PFF nightmare. All right.
Xavier Scott having a bit of a down year here, but he's only played 3 games.
Wow. All right, we in a bit of a jam here. All right, so anything on the line we can look at?
Well, we've gone back-to-back picks on offensive line. I don't think we need to go line again. There's Michael Taff.
How many picks that we made again?
We have made 4 picks so far. We've gone a wide receiver, linebacker, guard.
Yeah, no D-line. That's what I was talking about. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Is Albert Regis here?
He's about the opposite Dexter, like you think this guy is it, though?
He's a little undersized at 6'1", so I don't love that.
I know Amari's already gone by now for sure. So
Skylar Gale Howard, 6'1", 290. Eesh.
What's the move here?
I think we go Sab.
All right, let's do it. You still got somebody fighting in the safety spot, so that's good. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going to end up here? 141. Oh, brother.
Could go linebacker again with Trey Moore.
You see that Michigan man? I'm partial to him. I know what he can do, but I'm just partial. But that's just me. All right. So
Jalen Kilgore here at corner. It's an option. Trey Moore. Pair up the 2 Texas linebackers. David Oak. It's a decent size, 6'2", 314.
Haven't seen.
Only played 3 games though.
Let's look at Trey Moore again. How's he looking?
Coverage grade is not great. Missed tackle rate's a little high, but he is 6'3", 250. If we could train, we're also in the 5th round here, so we're not going to be getting there's a reason these guys are 5th rounders.
Let's do this. We got to overcompensate linebacker then because
I think he's based on how his splits are here. I think he operates as much of a pass rusher as he does an off-ball linebacker.
Let's do this, man. We got to overcompensate a linebacker because we got some real needs there, man. So I want to know about that one. We back on? Wow, this is tough. We down here in the dregs now.
This is a spot where, like a Drew Shelton, I wouldn't mind going tackle. Get some depth at he could be the backup left tackle. Marcus Bowe can be the backup right tackle.
So we don't see a starter here in Shelton?
No, we're not seeing a starter here. But we're not seeing starters anywhere here. We're in the 5th round.
It can happen, no, but let's go and take Shelton.
Shelton?
Yeah. I believe in miracles.
All right, here, I like Logan Jones. Just keep addressing the O-line.
We have
Center.
to. Is that the best option at center? Because I don't know if
Yeah, he's the best option remaining at center.
Austin's going to be there. I'm just not feeling that. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go ahead and do Austin. Austin.
Austin?
No, I'm just thinking about our current backup.
Austin Schlottman.
Yeah.
We could go wide receiver again here with Kevin Coleman. Keep adding up to the receiving core here. We could take DeMonte Capehart. Just get another big body down there on the line. Dude, 6'5", 315.
I like the idea of this one. Let's keep looking though. But let's put a pin in Capehart. I like it though.
Other than that, we could take a running back.
Scroll down a little bit. Yeah,
Kevin Coleman.
I want to think about that too. Scroll back to where a little bit more. They're being touching popular. I can't stand that dude. All right. So where's your running back?
Huh?
You said running back. What was that?
Jaden Ott.
No, sir. Let's go with Capehart.
Capehart?
Yeah.
What are we looking at? The last pick.
It is. Wow.
I'm thinking Kevin Coleman here. Only a 2.9% drop rate, 81.8% contested catch rate, only 2 drops on the year. He's top 30-ish in missed tackles forced. He's not super small, 5'11", 180. He's got decent enough size. And again, this is a guy who's probably just going to be, a depth piece. This is the 7th round here.
Let's look at Dane Key's number. Just want to see something.
Significantly worse across the board here, but he is bigger, 6'3", 210.
Yeah,
he has a significantly worse contested catch rate while being 4 inches taller and 30 pounds heavier is concerning.
The drop rate is nightmarish.
Christian Gray, not a good in coverage. So no.
I wish we'd have got Braille before now, because now I don't want to do it now. We already got a center back there already, so we already got replacement. Let's go ahead and get the wide receiver guy you're looking at.
Kevin Coleman. Yeah. And that'll be the end of the mock draft.
It's probably going to give us a big F, but it's all right. I'll probably want to see that grade, but it's just fun though. What's going to happen?
A- overall.
I'm shocked. And they hated the Anthony Hill pick. Of course they did, but we needed a linebacker, so okay what they're talking about.
And we leave this draft also with an extra 1 and 2 next year.
Yeah. I can live with this. That back end, I don't know what's going to happen with that. From 180 on, I don't know, but I'm definitely good with everything else that we did. So,
yep.
All right, good stuff, man. So this is the mode that we're in right here, man. But this has been fun. Any closing thoughts before we get out of here, man? We're at the end of the season, and the Giants are basically fighting for a number 1 pick. Any thoughts?
I think you and I are gonna have to figure out what we're gonna want to do for the last show of the season. We'll probably make an announcement once we decide on that, because I'm gonna be away next week. But my closing thoughts here are: if the Giants leave the draft with all of this, I'd be a happy camper. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think we have this. We have, how many picks do we even have? Right, we got 7, right?
Yeah, we have 1 first, a second, no third, 1 fourth, 1 fifth, 2 sixth.
Yeah, we're gonna have to trade back in order to get this kind of scenario. But if that happens, yeah, I'd be happy with it too, man. But this has been good, man. We're here to talk all things New York Football Giants. Hope you guys enjoyed watching and listening. Hit us up on social media platforms. Let us know what you think about our mock draft and the rest of the show. Have a great day. That's Jess. I'm Mr. U.